San Francisco has looked like a truly dominant team these last few weeks, and this was really sparked by the addition of Chase Young. This kicked off a unit who on paper looks like one of the deadliest across the entire league. But as we know, the rich only get richer, and the Niners added another weapon to an already loaded defensive line. Robert Beal Jr. was just activated off IR. The rookie coming out of Georgia is exactly the athletic profile San Francisco would want of a pass rusher. Specifically, according to the Niners, he had the fastest GTFO of any edge in the entire draft class. This metric was specifically designed for the defensive end coach Chris Kasarik, who preaches getting off the ball quickly. The combine seems to back up the Niners' assessment when you look at his freakishly fast 40-yard time of 4.48 seconds. Which is more impressive when you consider he's coming in at 6'4", 250 pounds. But as we know, the athletic profile only tells the surface of the story, so in this video, I want to dive a little bit deeper into the career of Robert Beal Jr. He started his career at Georgia in high school before bouncing to Florida and then back to Georgia. He played at a total of 3 high schools during this time, but nonetheless, Bill was able to remain a dominant high school player, being ranked as a 5-star recruit and ultimately committing to the University of Georgia. As a freshman in 2018, Bill played in a total of 11 games, registering 15 tackles and 1 sack. But he saw a decrease in 2019, playing in just 6 games and had 8 tackles. In 2020, he only played in 7 games and had no statistics. But once Bill actually received his opportunity in 2021, he ended up leading the Georgia Bulldogs with 6.5 sacks when they were the national championships and had 23 tackles total. In 2022, he then was an 8-game starter with 26 tackles and 3 sacks in just 15 appearances. So with Robert Beal Jr.'s college career out of the way, scouts had the opportunity to dive a little bit deeper into his game, and they definitely saw positives as well as negatives. The first thing they noticed when they turned on the film is, well, they didn't have a whole lot of it. He just didn't have that much production across his time at Georgia, and he was more of a rotational pass rush piece. But when I was looking at Robert Beal Jr.'s film, I was impressed how he was able to continually chase down runners, and I think that's just thanks to his speed. Kyle Shanahan even said he was looking to add more speed to his defense, and Beal Jr. definitely will do that. The next thing you'll notice about Robert Beal Jr.'s tape is he makes a name for himself on the field. He truly flashes at times, but he doesn't always flash. He struggles with inconsistency, and I think that was another big reason why he fell to the 5th round. However, Robert Beal Jr. has all the skills that you would want to develop a pass rusher. His wingspan is nearly 7 feet. That makes it a nightmare not just in the pass game, but also the run game. For instance, when you watch Robert Beal Jr.'s tape, you'll see him consistently fight off blocks and utilize his long arms to get the tackle. Another interesting aspect about Robert Beal Jr.'s game is how instinctive he is as a pass rusher. Sometimes it truly seems like he's finding out the right move as he's going against an opponent. But with that being said, he had some moves that stood out over other moves. Specifically, he ran a nice spin, and he also had a nice slap and slide inside counter to blocks. But Bill didn't just rely on that. Sometimes he would just utilize his athletic profile to make it a living nightmare for quarterbacks. However, due to the talent around him, Robert Beal Jr. did struggle to find the fills, only having 10 starts across 5 seasons at Georgia. But with the Niners, I do think they will be able to utilize Robert Beal Jr. even though he didn't have the greatest production at Georgia. Specifically, I think Robert Beal Jr. is another nice rotational piece for this already deep defensive line, and this helps keep the guys like Chase Young and Nick Bosa healthy and fresh. We also don't need to discount what the Niners have done in the 5th round. They've picked up guys like George Kittle and later picked up a guy like Brock Purdy. And when you look at Beal Jr., he didn't get all the opportunities he probably deserved in college, because every time he did get an opportunity, it seemed like he flashed to me. And while he definitely needs to develop in the rush game, I think that against the pass, Beal Jr. could definitely wreak havoc against opposing teams' quarterbacks. I also think Robert Beal Jr. and the marriage to the 49ers is perfect, specifically the marriage between Chris Kasarik and Beal Jr. Like I was mentioning, that metric GTFO, Robert Beal Jr. was #1 across the entire NFL draft classes last season. And I think that pairs extremely nicely to Chris Kasarik's philosophy of getting off the ball quickly and really pressuring opposing teams' quarterbacks. Maybe more interesting though is how Chris Kasarik will play into the development of a guy like Robert Beal Jr. He's already helped players like Kerry Hyder Jr., Charles Omenihu, and Samson Ebukam change their whole entire course of their career. I think he's one of the best defensive line coaches across the entire NFL. So with that being said, I think Chris Kasarik could utilize Robert Beal Jr. in a variety of ways. But initially, I think he's going to start as a rotational pass rush guy, but he definitely can get back there in coverage if he's forced to. I mean, we've already seen Chase Young drop into coverage, and Robert Beal Jr. I think is a little bit more athletic, and he even did that at times at Georgia. Beal could also offer some special teams versatility. His 4.48 40 is something to be desired along with his size. Additionally, I think that Robert Beal Jr. will have a nice season if we just see him rotate a little bit in as a pass rusher. I'm not expecting huge numbers out of Robert Beal Jr., but if he plays a role in the health and fatigue of other guys like Chase Young and Nick Bosa, that's a big win for a rookie selected in the 5th round. But these are just my thoughts on someone who I think can develop into a deadly piece for San Francisco, and I'd like to hear your thoughts down below. It would also mean a ton to me if you liked and subscribed. And as always, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day.